Welcome to a new video of the Cruise Vibes, and today we're gonna take a look at the AIDAaura, a cruise ship of the German company AIDA Cruises. And as always, we'll start with a few technical facts about the ship. The ship is 202.85 meters long, 28.1 meters wide, and the ship is from the year 2003. She was built in Germany. She is under the flag of Italy and has a tonnage of 42,289 GT, and she has 633 guest cabins, which makes her the by far smallest ship of the AIDA fleet. And unfortunately, she is leaving the fleet of AIDA in September this year, just like her sister ship AIDA Vita that already left the fleet, and the first ship of AIDA Cruises, AIDAaura, that already left the fleet as well. So for now, she is the last small ship of AIDA Cruises, and that means that it's now time to take a look at this ship with a full ship tour through all public areas that I can show you. We're starting on deck 4. Deck 3 only has the hospital and a few cabins and the tender platforms, so we are already on deck 4, but deck 4 is a full cabin deck, so there are only cabins, so we can straight go up to deck number 5. And also on deck number 5 there are only cabins, so we can also skip this deck and go straight on to deck number 6, which is the first deck with public areas. AIDA is using this ship for its selection cruises, which are a bit more luxurious cruises with longer stays and smaller ports. And you will also see it and feel it on this ship that it is a bit more luxurious than the newer and bigger ships. So now we are on deck 6, and here we have the first public areas, mainly the reception of the ship. That we're gonna take a look at now, and here you can already see that the design is a bit more classic and luxurious compared to the newer ships. Of course also because of some renovations in between, but here the reception, you can already see it. It is a small atrium area, small reception, but it looks very, very nice, and this is typical for this ship. Everything is a bit smaller, but also a bit more comfortable, luxurious than on the bigger ships. Here we also have a small internet corner where you can use some computers if you want to. Of course, that's not necessary anymore, and it shows that this ship is a bit older. Nowadays everybody is just using the smartphone or the tablet. Of course, Wi-Fi is available for a surcharge, and there's just maybe a few older guests that will still use these computers here. But if you take a look around the ship, you will see that even the oldest guests nowadays mostly use their smartphone, so it's not really necessary anymore, but it's still there. So here on deck 6 we also have the promenade, and it is a walk-around promenade, so you can walk all the way around the ship on this promenade, but just a very small exception at the aft of the ship, which I will show you later on. But now we're going to the front, and there you can see that you actually can go all the way around the bow of the ship. Of course, the very front part of the bow is not accessible, that's the crew area, but you can go all the way around here and enjoy this nice view from the bow of the ship. This is very rare on newer ships, on bigger ships. This is mostly an area that you cannot access at all. The only downside of this is that the privacy for the crew and the crew area is not perfect, because the guests can see the crew there, but still it's very nice for the guests that you can walk around. In this specific case I was not able to continue on this side because there were already some preparations for the docking, because the gangway will be from the other side. So we are back on the starboard side, and now we are going all the way to the aft of the ship. And here you also can see that there are sunbeds, so this is not only a nautical area, but it's also an area where the guests can relax and sit and enjoy the nice views. This is also typical for a more classical cruise ship. We are now at the aft of the ship, and here you can see that I cannot continue my tour all the way around the ship here because there's a fence, and this is because this is the kids club. This is the area where the kids can play, and of course, to make sure that nothing can happen, it is completely closed, so there's no possibility to go through this area, but you can just take the stairs here, go one deck up, and on the other side you can go back down, so it's possible to make a full round around the ship. You just have to take stairs in between. And as on deck 6 there are no more public areas, the rest are just cabins, we can also take these stairs to go up to deck number 7. Here on deck 7 we have the first bar, which is the ocean bar, and as I was making this tour in the very early morning, before 6 o'clock, it was still closed, but you can remove these wooden covers here, just can push them to the side, and then you will have the small ocean bar behind that. It's a very, very small bar, you just have the bar itself and then just one rows of tables, and that's actually it. But you have a very, very nice view over the stern wave of the ship, so this is a very, very nice place to be. From there you can go up one more deck to deck number 8, but there is no access, so you would have to continue on to deck number 9, but of course I will still have a few things that I will show you on deck 8. So for now we're going back down to deck number 7. Here you can see the stairs up to deck number 9, but this will deck 9 of course we will see later on. Now we're going back down to deck number 7. On deck 7 is only the ocean bar, there are no other public areas, but we will go through one of the cabin hallways. You can take a look at that as well, and then we go to the rear main staircase, and from there we go up to deck 8 again. So now we're going into the ship again, and here on deck 7, as I said, there are only cabins. So this is one of the cabin hallways, and as you can see it looks very typical for AIDA Cruises, very modern. And this is one positive thing that I really have to say about the AIDAaura. Of course there are a few machines that are not working anymore, for example in the gym, and most probably they will not replace them or repair them anymore. But in general the ship is in a very, very good state, in a very good shape. You will see there are no places where you can see the age of the ship. It looks very nice, it looks very modern. It looks even better than presented by AIDA on their website. They have a 360 degrees ship tour that you can do online. And there are a few areas that I didn't like, but as I saw them in real life, they are actually more modern and have been refurbished recently, even though the ship will leave the fleet soon. We will see some of these areas later on. Here we have the Markt restaurant, the market restaurant, which is one of the 2 main restaurants of the ship. Typical for AIDA Cruises, both main restaurants are buffet restaurants with self-service. The market restaurant is the smaller one, the bigger one we will see later. Here we can see the Thomas Henry bar, which is like a pop-up bar that is only open during and shortly before the opening times of the market restaurant, if you want to have a drink before dinner. And they have every day one special cocktail, of course always with the drinks from the company Thomas Henry. And now we are continuing on to the front of the ship, and here on the right side we have the shop. There's only one shop on board, so not like on most bigger cruise ships where there are several shops. Here it's just one big one, but you will find everything that you will find on other ships as well. Maybe they have a smaller selection, but in my opinion they have a very nice selection of products. And here on the left side we have the so-called Fernweh-Experten, where you can make a reservation for your next cruise. And here on the right side we have the excursion area, where you can book excursions. Of course, as always, like on all ships, it's highly recommended to book your excursions prior to the cruise online, because most of the excursions will be already fully booked once you are on board. But if you want to make another excursion spontaneously, you can book it here. And here we have the AIDA bar, which is the heart of the ship, the biggest lounge and bar on board, and very typical for the AIDA ships is the star bar. The bar is in the shape of a star, so you have a lot of seats directly at the bar. You have a few standing tables, but you also have a typical and classic lounge area. This is not very typical for AIDA because it looks more like on a classic old cruise ship, but it's very, very nice because those seats are quite comfortable, and it's really nice to sit here, enjoy the nice view and have a drink or two. On most other AIDA ships it looks a bit more modern, but it's also less comfortable, so I prefer this style. And behind that is the Selection Restaurant. Selection Restaurant is the equivalent to the Rossini restaurant on the other AIDA ships, so it's the fine dining restaurant. Of course you have to pay extra if you want to eat here, but you will get a very, very good fine dining experience, and in the later videos you will of course see it as well. We are continuing our tour to the front of the ship, and here we have the art gallery. As on most ships you can buy or purchase by auction some art. And In front of that is the photo gallery, where you can buy some photos that are done during the embarkation, also during the cruise. And here we also have the theater. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the theater as it is only open when there is an actual show, and of course then it's dark inside and it's crowded. So it was not possible to show it to you, but it's something very special because it's the last theater on an AIDA cruise ship, because all newer ships, they have the so-called theatrium, which is a mixture of an atrium and a theater. So it's an open area. And here we still have a typical classical theater. So I prefer the classical theater because it is a bit more calm, more relaxed, because in the theatrium you can always go and come during the shows as well, so it's a bit more hectic. But of course, if you don't like the show or if you're spontaneous, you can still join the show or leave during the show. So both concepts, of course, have their ups and downs. We are now meanwhile on deck 9. We have a second entrance to the theater, and on the other side we have the first part of the spa area, the body and soul spa area. And then in the middle of the ship, quite typical for AIDA but untypical for a cruise ship, is the gym, as it is located in the middle of the ship, and if you want to reach other areas you have to go through the gym. You will not find something like this on other cruise ships, but it's quite typical for AIDA. They have a wide selection of sports equipment here. You can also play golf and you can make courses, so there are a lot of different offers. It's a very nice and spacious gym, and also the design is typical for AIDA. Especially here on this ship you can still see it a lot, because the basic concept of AIDA was to have the concept of a club like in Spain or Turkey or Greece, but on a ship. So it was also called the club ship or club cruises. So all areas of the ship are designed like in a club hotel. On the newer ships you will not see it that much anymore, but here you can still see it a lot. And here we have this area that looks not very nice on the 360 ship tour online, but very nice in real life because it was renovated. This is the night fly bar, and it had some very old and not nice looking furniture, but it has been recently refurbished and now it has very nice and comfortable and modern chairs. And that's very surprising if you remember that the ship is leaving the fleet in September, but still it is kept up to date, so that's very, very nice, and I really like this about AIDAaura. It's a ship that always feels a bit more luxurious than the other AIDA ships, in my opinion. Here we have the extension of the Calypso restaurant. It is open all day long. Even when the restaurant itself is closed, this area is still open, so you can also use it as a lounge without service. Something also very untypical for newer cruise ships, but typical for the AIDA ships, is that all public areas are on the higher decks. The lower decks are for the cabins, the higher decks are for the public areas. On most newer ships it's the other way around. You have the public areas on the lower deck, so most of the weight is low in the ship, which is good for the stability of the ship. And then you have the cabins further up, because then they are considered more luxurious and you can sell them for a higher price. But here on AIDAaura it's the other way around, and I really like that because you have very nice view from all the public areas. And here we have the main part of the Calypso restaurant, which is the bigger of the two main restaurants, and this is a open seating. In market restaurants you have 2 times 2 seatings. You can choose which one you want to have. This is not assigned, but you have to decide if you want to come early or late. If you want to go there, and here on Calypso you can, whenever the restaurant is open, you can come anytime. Yeah, that's it for the restaurants, and now we are going another deck up to deck number 10. As you can see, the ship is rather small. You will not get lost on this ship. You will find your way very easily. You have a good overview over the ship after a few hours on board. So we are now on deck 10, and we are starting with the Hemingway Lounge, which is actually more like a library. It's not like a lounge with a bar, but a library. Here you have some games and books that you can rent. Of course free of charge. You can read them here or play them here, or you can also take them with you, just return them when you've finished. And it has also a very special design. It's a very small lounge area, but it's very, very nice. And now we are leaving this area again. On the other side of the ship, we have the Anytime Bar. On the modern ships, the Anytime Bar is only open in the evening as a nightclub. But here it's still living up to its name because it's open all day long. It's an Anytime Bar. Because there are not so many bars on this ship and you need the space and the capacity, so Anytime Bar is open from morning till late night. And here we have one feature that is also kept on all the newer AIDA ships, which is the so-called time tunnel, the entrance to the Anytime Bar. Of course, also here on the Aura, Anytime Bar is a nightclub, but it's also a regular bar during the day, and even early in the morning you can have your early bird breakfast here. That's why this is one of the very few areas where we will see already some people in this video. As I said, it's now shortly after 6 in the morning, so most guests are still sleeping, but the ones who wake up early, you will find them here at Anytime Bar for the early bird breakfast. And now we're coming to the outdoor areas of the ship. Again, a few areas that we're going to take a look at. Here at the aft of the ship, we have the outdoor part of the Anytime Bar. It has a very big outdoor area, and here on the right, and soon you will also see it on the left side, you can see the chairs, the furniture, and you see that it's very luxurious, untypical for a cruise ship of the, let's say, mass market. AIDA has ships with up to 6,000 passengers, but here on the Aura you feel that it is a small ship, it's a more luxurious ship, and you also see it, the furniture of the ship. This is a very, very nice area. It's really nice to sit here and enjoy the view over the stern wave. And we are going back down one deck now because there's another outdoor area. And this is the outdoor area of the Calypso restaurant. So when the weather's nice, you can even have your dinner or lunch or breakfast outside, which is also a very nice thing that you won't find on all ships. Of course, few ships have these features, but it's not common on all ships that you have an outdoor dining area, especially not if the ship is small like this one. But we are going back up to deck 10 and continue our tour to the front of the ship. First we will pass the outdoor area of the Hemingway Lounge. It's a very, very small but nice area that we can see here on the left side. And we continue on to the front. Now we're coming to the pool grill. And in general the pool area, of course, but first we have the pool grill. Here you can see the nice furniture again, looking very luxurious. And here on the pool grill you can get some small snacks and burgers. You can make the burger yourself. You have all the different ingredients. Of course, everything is already prepared, but you can make your own burger here and the quality is very nice. You see that it's not a prefabricated patty, but they do it themselves here on board. And here we have the pool area. Of course, it's an older ship, so the pool is not that big. It's not a pool for swimming, it's just for relaxing, for cooling down and enjoying the life. Here on the left side we also have a DJ booth, so you can use this area also for parties. On the other side we have the pool bar where you can get some nice drinks. And of course we have many different types of seats available, so you can choose if you want to sit, if you want to lie down, if you want to be in the sun, if you want to be in the shadow, so that's all up to you. Also you can see that it's not designed like a typical pool area of a ship, but more like a pool area of a hotel in Turkey, Spain, Italy, and that's again part of this club concept. Here are also some covered seating areas, completely windproofed and covered, but still outside. So if you prefer this, for example, very nice if the weather is not so good. And on the other side we have the same, there's no bar, but still we have a covered lounge, which is outside but windproofed and covered. What you can see here on the right side is not a second bar, it's just the area where you can rent some towels for the pool. But here you can see also this area is looking very, very modern, very nice and very luxurious. And we are continuing our tour. We are leaving the pool area, now going back inside. And from here we are continuing on to deck 11. And on deck 11 is the main access to the spa area here at the front staircase. Of course, I cannot show you the spa area because it's either not possible to film there because it's open and you have people using it, or you cannot film it because it's closed. So as always, I cannot show you the spa area. So we are going back out here on deck 11, of course, the highest deck with public areas, with the overview over the pool area. And this is the only downside that I do not like about the latest refurbishment, because there used to be a lot of fake palm trees on this pool deck, but they have been removed. But I personally liked the look of these palm trees here at the pool area, so I'm a bit sad that they removed them, but it's still a very, very nice pool area. We're now going to the front of the ship, and as you can see, there are a lot of windbreakers to make sure that even those areas are nice to stay without being too windy, even though we are now at the front of the ship. And this is the next big advantage of smaller and older ships. We still have an outdoor area at the front of the ship. These areas are reserved for guests of suites, the most expensive cabins on newer ships, or there are just cabins. On most new ships there is no possibility to enjoy this amazing view, and here on the AIDAaura just everybody can go there and enjoy this very nice view. And of course it's highly frequented when the ship is going into a port, through the fjords for example, or leaving the port. This area is very, very crowded, and it's quite sad they do not have areas like this on the newer ships. So another advantage of the small ships. There's also another whirlpool here, and behind the windows is the relaxation area of the spa area. And I said deck 11 is the highest deck. That's not completely true, because we have this very small area on deck 12. It says Nacktbereich, which means naked area. So this area is used for people who like to be naked. Then they can use this private area here to lie in the sun without clothes. Of course, it's not always used for this purpose, so if the ship is leaving in a harbor, it's just like the crow's nest. You can have a nice view. And also, of course, in the early morning there is nobody, so I was able to go there with the camera. But during the day you should not take your camera up there. And now, to end this video, we are going to the back of the ship, to the aft again, passing the pool area one more time. Of course, here also on deck 11 you have a lot of space to sit down or lie in the sun. And we are continuing all the way to the aft of the ship. There we have some more additional whirlpools and different types of seating. And of course we also have a small jogging track here, and that's basically it. Now you've seen all public areas of AIDAaura that I was able to show you. As I said, the ship will leave the fleet of AIDA Cruises in September, which is, in my opinion, very sad, because for me this is the nicest ship of the fleet. It's very sad that you will not be able to sail on this ship in the future again. It also has an uncertain future, so it's not known yet what will happen with this ship. The sister ship AIDA Vita is still docked in Tallinn since many years without use, so nobody knows what's going to happen with the AIDAaura. And that's very sad, because it's leaving a big gap in the fleet of AIDA. Of course, there are a lot of economical reasons to get rid of a small ship, and I guess most guests from AIDAaura will move to the slightly bigger Sphinx class, but I think also other companies with smaller ships will see some new guests coming from AIDAaura in the future. That's it for this video. I hope it was interesting for you. In the next videos, of course, you will see more about the life on board and the cabins. Here you can see when this next video will be uploaded, and also the name of the song. And as always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider to comment, like, subscribe, or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video.